guys, Meredith with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we are checking out these 5-inch I-Step running boards in black, fitting all 2010 through 2024 Ram 2500 crew cab models. If you're here, you or your passengers are probably having a tough time hopping into the truck, and you're looking for a solid running board option that is both functional and good looking. That's exactly what this set brings to the table, with the slim, all-black build and a wide enough step to help access the cabin lifted applications for those shorter passengers, or in both of those scenarios. This set of steps features a 5-inch wide design, which gives the running board a good amount of width to plant your foot and feel stable when you're getting in and out of the truck, and the surface is fully treaded front to back for slippery situations. The step is also able to support up to 300 pounds, so not only do they offer a good amount of space to work with, but also solid support. These are also just super direct with their appearance. They're muted if you don't want anything too flashy, and fill the wheel-to-wheel space with a very sharp appearance. This set is made of an aircraft grade 6061 aluminum, so it's strong enough to handle day-to-day abuse while maintaining a lightweight design that's not going to weigh down your truck. They also have a matte black finish to them and black powder coated brackets for a cohesive appearance. The black brackets are made of steel construction, which is responsible for that solid support for you and your passengers. These are also completely bolt-on with no drilling or modifications required. These are around $300 and are one of the most affordable choices in the category for a side step. While they are affordable, they don't lack quality with the aluminum build and the uniform construction, offering a simple and sleek appearance that you may be in search of for your 2500. These also provide the function that's needed without being too big or too busy with the design if you don't prefer that look, so you can't go wrong if those boxes are what you're looking to check in a side step, especially at this price point. Install is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it should only take about 2 hours or so to get these installed. However, at this point, I'm going to pass it over to one of our installers, and they are going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can get these 2 steps onto your Ram 2500 at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need a ratchet, 10 and 13 millimeter sockets, and 10 and 13 millimeter wrenches.
What's up, folks? Today we're going to be installing some running boards on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, so our first step is going to be to get underneath the truck, and we're going to come right to essentially the inside of our rocker panels, and we're going to find our mounting locations. So we first need to install some hardware and then our main bracket. So we'll get under there and get this going. All right, so now we're underneath the truck on the inside of our rocker panels, and we're going to find 3 of these locations with a larger oval circle and 2 hex openings below it. Now you may have some tape over this covering it from the factory. If you do, just remove that and discard it. Then we're going to grab our bolt and nut plate, and we're going to grab one of our 13 millimeter bolts, and we're going to loosely thread that into the nut side, just like so, and that's going to act as a handle. And what we want to do is send this through the oval opening. We'll get this down into position. Once you get it down in, you'll line that up with the hex hole. Now, we're going to be using both of these holes, so whichever way you want, it doesn't matter. We're going to hold that bolt Then we're going to grab one of our provided plastic washers. That's going to go over our stud. Now this is meant to just hold this in place so it doesn't fall back into your truck. So we'll thread this on. Sometimes you can push them, sometimes you have to thread them. Work this in place. Sometimes they're a little stubborn, you kind of have to force them. Once you have that in position, we can go ahead and remove that bolt. And our plate's going to fall down. Now it is going to sink below this other opening, but we can use this stud to line it up once we put our main brackets on. And once you have this step done, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other 2 brackets on this side. All right, so now that we have our bolt and nut plate on, we're going to grab our main brackets. Now these are the same for all 3 mounting points, so we're right in the middle. This is going to be the same process for the other 2. So we'll slip this over that stud. Now this part is going to be a little bit tricky to hold the bracket in place. We're going to hold that there, Then you're gonna twist that nut plate into position. It's hard to see from this angle, but you will be able to see it looking at it. And we're gonna grab our provided 13mm bolt, lock washer and flat washer, and we'll get that into the nut side of our plate. Again, you may have to exercise a little patience to get these started. Once you get that bolt in, you want to get that down hand tight. And again, we're on the passenger side, so we want the mounting point of our brackets to be facing the rear of the vehicle and the bracket itself to be facing the front of the vehicle. Once we have that bolt in, we'll come over to our stud. We can install a flat washer, a lock washer, and our 13mm nut. And we'll run this down hand tight as well. Now we're not going to be fully tightening these just yet. We want to be able to adjust our running boards once we get them on. So we'll leave these hand tight, and we'll do the same thing for the other two brackets. So once we have all of our main brackets in place, our next step is going to be to install our support brackets to our pinch weld as well as our main bracket. Now you should have already 2 holes drilled at each mounting point through your pinch weld. That should come factory like that. We've got our support bracket, and that's going to go behind your pinch weld, and the L of that bracket is going to sit on your main bracket. So to mount these, we've got 2 10mm bolts with flat washers that are going to go through the pinch weld. Once we get that through, add in another flat washer along with our 10mm lock nut. And that one down. We'll get our next one through. And once again, add in a flat washer, followed by another lock nut. Now once we have both of these on and started, we are going to connect our support bracket to our main bracket. And for that, we'll grab a 13mm bolt with a flat washer, send that through. Then on the back side of that, we will add a flat washer and a 13mm lock nut. And once again, we're not fully tightening these down just yet. And once we've reached this point, we can do the same thing for the other two brackets. So now that we've got our bracketry in place, it's time to prep our boards for install. Now they're going to be held in by these slotted brackets along with 2 elevator bolts for each bracket. These have square holes in them that these are going to lock into place for. And you're going to put these in with the U side facing down if you have it facing upright like so. Bolts going in like that, and then they won't be able to twist around. So you get your 2 in, and you're going to turn that over, and these have slotted corners. So you'll place this in at an angle, and then rotate it to 90 degrees. Sometimes they can be a little bit stiff. Then when they lock in at 90, you can slide them around so we can adjust for our brackets. So there's going to be 1 for each bracket, so that's 3 total. Drop our elevator bolts in from the top, turn that over, slide these in. So now once you have all 3 of these in, you can adjust them to the general area where your bracket's going to be. So 1 towards the front, 1 right around the middle, then 1 towards the rear. Now these aren't going to be exact right now. We're going to get them in place once we flip our board over and get it onto our brackets. So now we can flip our board over onto our brackets, and the easiest way to do this is to line up your middle one, and then we can go in and adjust our front and rear. Get our bolts lined up, sit those on. Then we can go underneath and get everything adjusted and get our hardware on. Now we're back underneath our boards, and you'll notice that our studs are not quite lined up with our bracket. That's okay. If you have this, you can just lift up on your board, slide that bracket over, get those bolts lined up, like so. Then we'll do the same thing for the other 2 brackets. Now once you have all of your mounting brackets lined up, we're going to add in a flat washer and a lock nut for each of our bolts. Now these are going to be a little bit tricky to get in at first because they're loose. Get that flat washer in. You can kind of hold the back side if you get your hand up there. There we get that lock done in place. Do the same thing for our other stud. And once you have these two on, you can do the same thing for the other two brackets. So now once we have all of our hardware in place, it's time to start tightening everything down. Now we're gonna start with our boards, and you wanna make sure they're adjusted to where you want them to sit on the truck. And we'll grab our 13 mil socket on our ratchet and tighten these down. Now you may have to put a hand behind these brackets at first to hold the bolts in place. That tight. Next, we're gonna tighten down our main bracket with our 13 mil socket again. And once that's done, we'll grab a 13 mil wrench. We're gonna tighten down that main bolt from our support bracket to our main back bracket. That's gonna pull that support bracket tight. And once that's done, we can grab our 10 millimeter socket and a 10 millimeter wrench. Tighten down our two support bracket bolts to our pinch weld. And once you have everything tight here, you can do the same thing for the other two brackets. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our 5-inch I-Step running boards in black finish for your 10 to current Ram 2500 crew cab. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.